teamwork.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so happy that you share that because that is something that we really thrive on in the morning to get our mindset right and to practice in order to get on the phones and handle our clients throughout the day. So I love that, and I love the teamwork. I love it that we get together and we can kind of bounce ideas off each other and learn every day. So thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Gratitudes? Wins? Yes, Jeff?
I'm grateful for that, him mentioning that. Also, man, I was in the shower this morning and I was like Monday morning going, I don't feel like doing this at all today. And I just told myself, just get to practice, get through morning ascent, you'll feel better. About 9 o'clock,
Yes.
You'll be ready to get on the phone. So,
Yeah. That's great.
so I'm grateful that we all come together for this.
Thank you for sharing that. Self-talk is so important. I love that. Thank you. Yes, Evan?
I am very grateful to everybody that helps me out. I've lost 47 pounds.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Woo-hoo!
I'm just a small child.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. My kids.
And you sell real estate.
So I'm just grateful for the environment I'm in.
Oh, that's great. It really does take a role, right, in your life, how you start your day and your mindset and the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. Anyone else? Gratitudes wins? Oh, please.
Oh, I'll just add into Jeff's seats. I was driving here and I drive past Cottonwood High School.
Yeah.
And there's this little crosswalk and these two boys are walking away from the school.
Oh.
And I'm thinking just how grateful I am to have such great influences, not only in our office,
Yeah.
but just like growing up, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's so important, especially when you don't want to do important things.
Right.
And so I'm like, you guys are going the wrong way and school hasn't
Yeah.
even started yet.
Yeah.
Is that why you screamed out the window?
I should have.
Like, hey, go back to school.
I know. So, but it's so important to have an environment like this where it'll make you do things that you don't want to, but you know you should do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know that they're happening, so it's just pushing yourself there, right? Thank you for sharing that. And it would have been funny actually if you pulled over and said, hey, go back to school. I was actually reading something on that as well. Just how we practice and how we go about our day and just the things that we need to focus on, we forget, actually. I wanted to go over, there's 9 laws of growth and practice. Everything that we talk about, even just right now, in the gratitudes and wins that we just did, it comes down to practicing on how you talk to yourself, how you set your mindset, how things work. And I just wanted to I was reading about this and it just really reached out to me because we do real estate and it's really hard because you need to focus on yourself so much and what you put in your mind. The first one is like it says the great law. It didn't work. Let's try this one. There, this is better. The law of echo. What we put into the universe is what comes back. Now, that's such a profound statement because it's how you, just like Jeff said this morning, it's what you're putting out there, what you're putting in your mindset. Sometimes when you say it out loud and you hear it yourself, like, yes, I need to do this, right? It gives us the courage in order to do that and to take those steps. Like how we communicate. And that's just in general. Like we practice the way we communicate, the way we have our rituals, the way we have the drive to get up and actually come into work and be in this room full of people that want to strive and do better. And it's all about what you put out there comes back to you. And I'm talking about energy. Energy is so important. How you communicate with your clients, your colleagues, what you put out there with your family, and actually more so yourself when you're looking into the mirror saying, okay, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to do this, and you talk to yourself of what you're going to achieve. The second is the law of creation. Life does not happen by itself. We need to make it happen, right? Like we're all here doing role play. It doesn't happen. We make it happen. Share with me, actually, what does that mean exactly? How do you create better things for yourself on a daily basis? Yes, Jeff?
Visualization, intention.
Yeah.
Dreams, goals. Rather than just letting it, I won't get ahead of it.
No, that's absolutely spot on. How are you, the law of creation, it doesn't happen. You have to make it happen. And it comes from the vision of what you want to do today, what you want to do a week from now, what you want to do in the future. I love that. Any other thoughts? Yes, Mike.
I'd say taking massive action, as opposed to like waiting for business, going out and finding it, creating.
Oh my gosh, spot on. When you take the action, action creates motivation, right? If you just get up, like Jeff said, I just came in the office, and he did so amazing in role play, right? It's because you take that action and automatically when you're sitting in role play or you're doing things to start your business for the day, it creates that motivation and momentum to keep moving. 3 is like the law of humility. What does this mean?
Don't think you're the best. Always be willing to learn.
Yes, absolutely. When you walk through life with a humble mind and open to grow and open to learn, you're unstoppable. That's what that is right there. No matter how good you are, like when we have our top producers and they say we reset every day, why do they do that? To stay with humility. Yes, Evan.
If you're listening to the message this morning from George,
Oh yeah?
he says the most dangerous thing that you can say to yourself is that you already know.
Absolutely.
And he's right. If you're not humble and teachable,
Yeah.
and you already think you know it all, you are not going to be able to take growth from others.
Absolutely.
That totally sounds like a book I wrote. It's called The 10 Humblest People in the World
Yeah.
and How I Met the Other 9.
Nice, John.
Good, good.
Oh, wow. Drop the mic.
Yes, let's go.
It just comes down to, right, one must accept something in order to change it. If you think that you know everything, how are you going to grow your business to the next level? And that doesn't just go into business, it goes into personal life and relationships and just how you live your life every day. Like we practice on how we are with our energy and how we talk with our clients, right? What else? I'm looking for a little bit more here. Humility.
Leave the ego at the door.
Ego at the door. I love that. When you do that, you open yourself up to so much opportunity. It's hard to do it because we are set in our ways. But if you leave the ego at the door and you come in with an open mind, you can learn so much from anyone, whether they've been in the business for 20 years or whether they've been in the business for 5 months. You just don't know, right? You can, if you're open to it, you can learn anything at any time, even just in passing. Especially what people are going through and what they do in order to make their days happen and success especially. It's the law of growth. I think this kind of goes hand in hand. When we change ourselves, our lives follow so it can change too. Because when we want something to happen, like we say, right, motivation, or actions create motivation. If you want that change and you start to change your own habits and your rituals every day, and when you practice it, your life catches up. Everything else catches up. Your standards catch up. How you treat your business, that catches up. Your relationships, everything. What else? The law of growth. Like, think about that for a minute. When we change ourselves, our lives follow so it can change as well. Yes, John.
So That is extremely powerful.
Absolutely.
I had to realize that if I want something different than what I had to do and be something different.
Absolutely.
My friends would call me on weekend and I didn't want to go out. Oh, well, I gotta be different. So I went out.
Yeah.
This is what allowed me to find and marry my wife. I had to be different than what I was.
Absolutely. Yes, Matt.
One word that comes to my mind when I think of the law of growth is patience. And George said it a couple weeks ago. We tell the universe that we want to change, and we change for 10 seconds, and then we go, why the frick is the universe not here yet with my change?
Right.
You gotta be patient with, I mean, you're gonna change whoop-de-doo, but you gotta wait till life catches up to your change and be consistent with your change so everything can come.
Absolutely. Like George says, right? If you do all the right things, everything else follows.
It has-
And it is a law of attraction. How you are, what you do, how you present, and how you walk through life. If you have a little patience, it all follows. It all comes through. Yes, Greg.
Ruby, George says that personal growth is one of the two things for fulfillment.
Absolutely.
Personal growth and contribution to others.
Yep. Yep.
Fundamental.
Again, you have to just be open to it, right? And be patient. If you want different results, you gotta have a different plan of action. You gotta change that. Yes.
Sometimes too, when we're growing and we make changes in our life, the universe will put something in our way that we look at, we go, that's not what I had in mind. Why don't you give me something different?
Yeah.
And the universe goes, don't be ungrateful. I just gave you your change, take it and love it.
Yes.
And so that's where your open-minded statement made me think of that.
Change is good. Because if it's not good, what do? You learn from it, you grow from it, and you get even better, right? If that doesn't work. They say it's not failures, it's experiences, right? Let's see, number 5, I write too big, really bad. The law of responsibility. We must take the responsibility for what is in our lives in order to change it to what we want in our lives. That's really important. If you don't take responsibility of where you stand, what does that mean? Share with me, guys.
I was talking with Jason last Thursday and kind of whining and complaining about how difficult these clients that I have are, and just like every circumstance was difficult. And he asked a question that hit me like a ton of bricks. You know,
Wow.
what are you doing to attract that into your life?
Yeah.
I was like, how dare you? Right? That's not me, that's them.
It's like, what?
But as I kind of sat there and really struggled to kind of think through it all.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, it is me.
Yeah.
I have that responsibility.
Right. Take the responsibility to understand versus reacting, right? If you take that step back, that's powerful. It's simple, but it's powerful. If you step back and think, why am I in this situation and how can I get out of it? It's really, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Lindsay. Oh. No, go ahead. Evan?
Well, it's whenever you give up on your values and your missions, it's where you're gonna work with the people that you're not gonna be, that it's gonna bring that stuff into your life.
Yeah.
If you give up your missions, you're gonna work with people that are cheap.
Absolutely. That's perfect. And honestly, it's if you take the responsibility of what is there, then you're able to grow from that. Admission is the number one thing to understand what you need to work on, right? I love that. Yes, John.
So I've heard this more than once. The first time I heard it, I hated it. I heard it say that you are exactly where you want to be at this time in your life because all the decisions you've made have led to it. And I've heard from more than one source. Anyway, yes, Tony Robbins says it, but he's
Yeah.
not the only one.
Yeah.
So with that being said, are we using the law of creation
Mhm.
and being responsible in the decisions we make to bring about what we want?
Absolutely. I agree with you completely, and Tony does say that. Lindsay, share with me. Oh, sure. Okay. Good.
I think taking the law of responsibility is bigger than people look at it. I think you can't grow until you take responsibility. I think oftentimes, we look for the outwardness of life to be able to point blame, direct things. I love what Michael said is no matter what it is in life, you have attracted it.
Yep.
You are never going to grow until you understand, but until you take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? I love the question that Tony will often say as you go through experiences, what are you learning from this?
Mm-hmm.
What is life or the universe trying to teach me? Right? Versus
Absolutely.
woe is me, why me, all that kind of stuff. It's just a different levels of perception. And so looking at it from a perspective, everything in life happens to you for a reason.
Right. Absolutely.
And
Okay.
although tried with this weekend, I'm a firm believer that there is everything. It happens to you for a reason,
Yeah.
whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And you have to look at it from a perspective of how can you fight through, how can you get, but you won't until you take responsibility for your actions, because everything happens to you based on what you've chosen. You're a direct reflection of your choices you've made in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything in life that's happening to you is a direct reflection of what choices you've made.
Yeah, and it is a responsibility, and it's so profound. If we can admit that, and you take every situation and grow from it, and you learn what could have been and what is and what I want it to be. That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. It's great.
I think it's a blessing that it's this way too, because it's in our control.
Yeah.
If it wasn't because of us, we would just have to deal with stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Endlessly.
Absolutely.
But we can cause the effect.
Absolutely. You take the effect and you make the change. Just like Jason said, what are you doing in this situation to change it? What are you attracting and why? So look at that. Take a moment and step back and say, what brought me to this position? Let's change it. Let's change the gears. A different outlet. Andy, you had something.
Yeah, I think when it comes to responsibility gives you the power to do anything. If you don't take responsibility, you have no power. Even if it's not your fault. Even if it's something happened to you, you're either a victim or you're the victor, however you want to look at that. Without taking responsibility, you just live as a victim all the time.
Yeah, and you lose power.
Things happen to
Yeah.
you instead of you happening to them.
Absolutely. I love that. That's perfect. The next one is law of connection. Okay. This is a big one. This is how you relate to everything that is happening around you at all times. It says the actions of your past and present and what the future is going to hold is all connected. What you do today will reflect on later today and tomorrow and your thought process for your goals to come. Right? Share with me what else.
The law of echo ties into this. I really love what Rick often says, which is how are you showing up
Yep.
to get people to react the way they do?
Absolutely.
And that's both positive and negative.
Yeah, it's
And
both.
So how we show up
It matters.
is key.
It matters. It's a connection of everything that's around you. You walk around with this bubble of energy, and how you show up whether it's in a negative way, whether it's in a positive way. That's what's coming back to you, right? You can't walk into a room and say, hey, Barbara, how's it going? And she's gonna be like, oh, whatever, and walk away. I don't think she would respond that way, right? So it's the energy. It is how you show up. If you're angry and you walk into a room, your energy reaches those people before you do, right? She's like, I probably would say whatever. Yes, Greg.
This morning, the morning message from
Yes.
George, he said something too that I couldn't really get where he was going, but he said something about as a group, we need to collectively be doing things.
Absolutely.
And maybe connecting is that way too. And then he said, decide how you're gonna live and then live it. Maybe
comes
us all
through-
connecting to each other. I don't know where he was going.
It comes through with your structure. If you live with structure and you have that growth and you work as a team. Now we're all here in this room. I get fueled off of coming here in the morning. Honestly, being here, being with everyone else, knowing that they're making efforts every day, looking at the smiling faces despite all the objections that we go through, all the presentations and everyone's struggling, but it's what you're striving through and the breakthroughs we get every day. It fuels me for my day and the week. Yes, John.
I've recently been thinking about this, and just because I want to do my business through my SOI,
Yes.
and so by the law of connection, do I naturally care about them? Am I worried about little Billy when he's in a bike accident? And do I let the parent of them know that? Do I show up in a way in my friend and family's life in such a way that they're gonna want to return that back?
Yeah, absolutely. It's what you leave. It's the memory that you leave in their mind and the feeling that you leave them with when you walk out of the room.
So,
That's why.
According to this law, I may practice real estate, but the truth is, if I'm not practicing love, care, and just friendship,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna be practicing nothing at all.
Absolutely. And that's the ninth thing I was gonna put up here is practicing all your thoughts, what you do, your daily lifestyle, your routines and everything, it's all connected. And so this is really powerful, you guys. What you do today will have a reflection of what is going to be tomorrow. And so if you are able to take just a little bit of change a day that you know that you're struggling on or that is a weak point for you, if you focus on that just a little bit and tweak your schedule to fit it in there, to change just a little bit, you'll be surprised if you do this every day. Instead of worrying about, I'm gonna change and I'm gonna be different next month or this is gonna work out. Try that every day. Take one little goal, one little focus and tweak it and improve it every day and practice that, right? So the next is the law of focus. Now George was talking about this in the morning message quite a bit. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on your structure? Are you focusing on the way you live your life, the way you walk through life, how you handle your business? Like if we all think about it, you are CEOs of your own life and your own business. Are you hiring yourself to do the best for yourself? That's really powerful if you think about it, right? The way you walk through the type of energy that you have. If you're presenting to someone and you have another agent that you're working with or dealing with, would you want to be that way? Would you want to be that agent? Would you want to hire that person? Would you want to be that person? If you cringe even just a little bit when your eyes are closed, that means change is important, right? Honestly, if you're like, oh, yeah, I don't want to deal with this person, so let's not be that, right? Be a reflection of what you are wanting to see in other people, the vision. We cannot think of two different things at the same time. Focus on one thing and improve that. Take that into account and look every day, what can I do different? Oh, I did this today, this didn't work out in my favor. Okay, so I'm gonna tweak it and it's going to be in my structure. It's going to change. I'm gonna put this in my schedule. I'm gonna do this differently because it's not working. It's all about, it all goes hand in hand, right? Taking the responsibility of knowing and the admission of what needs to improve and focusing on that every day. Last one. The law of giving. be open to learning. When your body language comes up and you are open and have a positive mind, you are automatically opening up your mind to learn. If you have the ability to give, like advice, or help someone, like this is what we do in our business, in our daily life, right? We help people, we guide them through, we ask them the right questions to see the vision that's really out there. But then you also need to be open to receiving that information from anyone around you. If you don't have that ego, you will go so far. It is just crazy to see. Our behavior should match our thoughts and actions. The way you live through life, the way we do our presentations, the way our energy is with other people, either it's in the room, either it's in our relationships, or it's what we're working on. The law of giving, honestly, it's our behavior and our actions. We were talking about that last week, right? How do you communicate your vision? It comes through in your behavior, in your presentation, and how you attract anybody in your life, whether it's business or personal. Thoughts on that? Yes, Jason.
So that one, I know a lot of people who are extremely giving, but when it comes to receiving, they have a really hard time. And in order to have someone be able to give and be blessed by giving, there needs to be somebody who's willing to receive.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes our ego will really play a role in not allowing someone to serve us because I'm too good. I can't ask for help. And in reality, when you allow someone to help you, you're blessing them, you're blessing yourself.
Oh, that's so amazing. I love that statement. It's true. If you have that ego, it will actually eventually come through and people will stop asking you. It really will. Because if it's a one-way street, how far will that go? That's so profound because if you are willing to learn and not just give, there's just so much more. Like we get that, right? We take away from like the podcasts and we listen to the motivational videos and stuff. But we can't ask them questions, right? We can't ask them, hey, I have this problem, I have this doubt, how should I get through it? Those are things that you ponder on. So isn't it better when you have that relationship with someone and you're able to put your ego aside and you're able to give and learn at the same time? That's a beautiful relationship right there, whether it's just a communication in passing. I love that. Thank you, Jason. Somebody else had their hand up. I'm going to share.
You only did 8.
What's that?
Just 8 laws. 8 laws.
Well, I put 9 because the last one is the law of practice. This is a big one for me. You know, when you want to come into the room and you think that you have a different energy, when I have a different energy, people call me out on it. Because I'm normally a certain way. If I walk into a room frustrated, ask Curtis. What Toastmasters, I was flustered one day and he's like, "Are you okay?" So people know the difference in your element. Practice it, you guys. Why do we say let's record our presentations? Why is it so important? Because your energy comes through the way your body language is. It comes through. So why that's so important, whether we're talking, whether we're walking, whether we're communicating, whether we're just in the room. It's all about practicing the way you come across, right? Thoughts on that?
I'll think about this. So last week I was speaking with an agent, and one of my thoughts to this when you say law of practice is it's often that we can look at somebody, right, and they can speak a good game, talk a good game, act a good game, the language even comes out that they're that person, but yet they don't actually walk the walk.
Yeah.
And so I think practice comes into place, and when I look at all of these laws that you've given, and I'm gonna go with Greg on the statement of growth and contribution.
Right.
If you really look at all the others, those are the practice of being able to give and being able to grow.
Absolutely.
Right? You can't grow if you're not if you're not taking responsibility and accepting the fact that you have to change. Right? Or the law of obviously giving, if you're not putting out into the universe, giving. Yeah, I love the comment Dwayne Dyer recently said that I listened to. He said, meditation, it's always interesting how often people rely on prayer.
Right.
Right? But meditation is waiting for the universe to tell you what you need to do versus you always asking of the universe.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's interesting to me how, just going into this, is practice. In fact, today for me, just at the gym, is I was just so grateful as I was on the Stairmaster of the practice that I have put into my systems of, okay, as soon as I get on that cardio machine, that means I'm listening to something motivational. As soon as I do this, I'm doing this, right? And now it's a piece of me and a habit that in trials and tribulations or things, as like Andy says, when things are, you know, it's easier for you to just, okay,
Yeah.
this is the route that I'm going.
Absolutely.
I watched an agent, a dear friend of mine, and I so graciously said that it's a good thing he doesn't come and talk to me because I'll let him know he took him with him. And the reality is you always have to be practicing these things to get anything to change. You can keep chasing it. If we talk business, you can keep chasing the shiny pennies, do the things that you think are actually going to get you business. So if you're not taking responsibility, you're not putting out into the universe, setting the intentions, going after your goals, focusing on growth.
Absolutely.
Right? Growth is my number one value, but if you're not focusing on growth, you will die.
Yeah.
The statement is when you're not growing, you're dying inside.
It's absolutely true. And yes, Rick, please.
One last comment.
Yeah.
Takes you 10,000 tries to master a move, to become a master in boxing, wrestling, martial arts. 10,000 times practicing the same move to become a master.
We live, Lindsay, I love like all of this hand in hand. If you're grateful and fear don't go together, right? If you have gratitude, then you don't have the fear, because if you're grateful for what you have, then you're open to what is coming. If you're open to that, you can just imagine if you practice the things that the walk in life, like just generally, if you have a relationship and you're walking through life and how you do your business, and do you really live your vision? Are you living the way you want it to be? Or are you living in like, oh, I can think about what I want it to be? If you make that decision and you start moving towards it, everything else starts to come along. It might take a little time, but it is. But you got to be open, and you have to practice it every day. I struggle with my schedule. I do, because I want to help everybody, but I don't. I struggle with my schedule. I'm like, oh gosh, I got to change this. Oh gosh, I got to change this. When I sit down at night, I think about the gratitudes that I had throughout the day. It's another thing I do. If you think about just the good things sometimes, then you're like, wow, that was great. Even though you struggle, if you don't think about the struggles every day, and you think about the gratitudes, you're able to open your mind up to so much more and be thankful for it. I love that. Any other thoughts, guys? It's a great start to the week. I want you guys to have a fabulous week. Let's close out. Woo! Ready? Everyone up!